Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Joshana here to talk about some friggin' DNFing. So DNFing means did not finish. So when you say I DNF'd it, you did not finish it. And I am an avid DNFer. I didn't necessarily used to be, or I wasn't always. I used to want to commit to the book and read the whole book, and it might take me months and months, but I'm gonna read it, right? And as I've gotten older, in the last couple years here, it's like there's so many freaking books I want to read. There's already so many books on my Goodreads, want to read, on my owned TBR, and it's like I'm finding new ones every day, especially since getting on BookTube. But yeah, there's just countless books on those lists and countless books that I'm going to keep adding to the list that I have yet to discover. And because of that, I just feel like my reading time is precious and I don't want to, quote unquote, waste it reading a book that I already know I'm not really going to enjoy that much. Since I've been an avid reader, since I learned how to read, I think I've honed in that ability to tell pretty early, usually, if I'm going to love a book or not, or even like it. And sometimes I will push through a little bit because I'm kind of but I'll know right away, I'm not loving this. But maybe it's not so bad, or it could be redeemed, and so I'll keep reading. And I mean, I've gotten 60% of the way through books and been all right, nope, I'm done. And it's why don't you just read the rest of it? You read most of it, but it's why? I'm not enjoying it. I'm not liking it. If I'm that curious about the plot, I will just Google it. And sometimes a book can be objectively a well-written book and a good book by all normal standards and very well loved, and it's just not my jam for whatever reason. And a perfect example of that is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. I know that's a quality book, right? That whole series. Didn't she win the Hugo Award 3 years in a row for each of those books in that trilogy? I'm fairly certain. I know she won the Hugo Award 3 years in a row, and I'm pretty sure it was for those books. And the themes in them are very important. And again, the writing, on all technical aspects, is quality. But it just wasn't my jam. I did not care for it. It was just the writing style was not to my taste. The second person point of view thing really threw me off. It just was why? What? I don't get it. And I know I've had people you gotta read the whole thing, you'll understand. I don't care. It's fine. It's cool. I'm so glad that so many people love it. I just didn't. Kind of time jumping, but it wasn't clear. And again, this could have been a mood thing. I could have just been not in the right mindset for it, because I was just what the hell? Why does this need to be this confusing? It felt like it was confusing on just for the sake of being confusing. And I think I read over 50% and then just was I can't anymore. And sometimes I will go through and finish a book, even if I'm feeling kind of eh. But if it's pretty short, then I'll usually just kind of read through it. Down Among the Sticks and Bones is a very good example of that. I right off the bat was nope, I hate this whole thing, this beating over the head with the repetitive, this is the theme of the book, this is the theme of the book. Hey, FYI, did you know if this was the theme of the book? Hey, guess what? This is bad, this is bad. And I agreed with the theme of the book, but it was still so fucking annoying to me personally. But the book's this big, and I just was whatever, sure, I'll finish it. But if it had been a longer book at all, if it had been twice that size, I would have DNF'd it for sure. And yeah, like I said, sometimes it can take me a little while, where I'm kind of with The Fifth Season. I was kind of okay, I get the themes, and I'm here for the themes, and I just hear how great this book is. Let me keep, okay. And same thing with Dreams of Gods and Monsters. I read through 60% of that book before I was just so over the drawn the hell out plot. But then there's other books I read the one Dash and Lily, the first one. Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, and then 12 Days of Dash and Lily. I really liked Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. I really liked it. And then I tried reading 12 Days of Dash and Lily, And I read like maybe 20 pages and I was like, F this. And it was just because I didn't like the trope that was happening. The whole, oh, we have a problem, and if we would just talk to each other, it would like do away with the whole plot of this book. But like, we're not gonna talk to each other about it. We're just gonna assume how the other person feels and then like be morose and moody and make all these other choices that affect the plot just because we won't talk. Like that whole stupid trope, to me, clearly, how do I feel about it? I think it's stupid. It drives me freaking crazy. So right off the bat, I was like, all right, and we're done here. Same thing with Carry On. I'm sorry to all of you on BookTube that love Carry On. I read maybe 50 pages of that and was just not having a good time. I was like, this reads like some really bad fan fiction, and I don't understand why it is a like traditionally published novel. The Beautiful Ones by Sylvia Garcia Moreno, or Moreno Garcia? Yeah, Moreno Garcia. That was another one with the plot. The characters were just annoying me, and the romance, it seemed like it was supposed to read as like this tragic, important romance, and it just read to me like ridiculous and dumb. And I just didn't want to read a whole book that was based on this, to me, flimsy, ridiculous romance. So I stopped. And like Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, you guys know I hated Monty. I probably would have DNF'd that book if it wasn't, the writing style wasn't such like a quick, fast-paced read. Because that book is pretty huge and I was kind of intimidated by it. But then when I started reading it, like there's so much action happening, and I enjoyed the other two, the supporting characters. And I enjoyed them enough, and I enjoyed the pacing enough that one was a quick read, so I read it. But if that writing style hadn't been so quick-paced for me, and I hadn't cared so much about Felicity and Percy, I would have DNF'd that simply because of freaking Monty. But yeah, to me, life is just too short to read bad books. And bad books does not mean that it's, you know, actually like a reviewed, critiqued bad book. It just means to you personally, you're not enjoying it. That's why we read, right? To enjoy these stories and these characters and get to know them and get to know these worlds. And if you're not having a good time, pick up another book. There's plenty. So I fully support DNFing. I am like pushing people who are like, I can't DNF, like, oh, or like they're scared to, or they feel bad. I mean, you don't have to. Do what you want to do. I'm just saying, I fully push the agenda of DNFing books that you're just not into. And I'm sitting here talking about why I DNF books, right? Just like to kind of chat about it, because I've had a lot of people comment, they're like, oh, it's so hard for me, or like, what makes you DNF a book? But I don't think you need to like justify your reasons for DNFing a book either, you know what I mean? Like, of course you can explain it if you feel like talking about it, but like, we all could do it for different reasons, you know what I mean? Like, what would make me stop reading a book wouldn't necessarily make you stop reading a book. You know, it's a crazy world and we all have different tastes. So if you are a DNFer or you become a DNFer, don't ever let anybody make you feel like, ugh, I can't believe you would DNF that. Why? Explain yourself. You don't have to explain yourself, because I freaking wanted to, that's why. Let me know down in the comments if you are a DNF reader, and if you're not, why you're not. Because again, you don't have to, you know, I support it because frees up more time to read books I like. But if you're not one, you know, do you want to be one? Or are you just like, nope, I commit and I read the whole book once I've started? I mean, that's admirable. Kudos to you for having the time. And the patience, really. I think it's the patience. Hope you guys enjoyed this little chatty video. And thank you so much for your time. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.